I was recently asked a very simple question about all of these videos that I do. And they're like, if you listen to your audio podcast, you sound like you're a believer in things of the paranormal. But watching these videos, you're coming off more as a skeptic. So which one is it? Are you a believer or are you a skeptic? And it was tagged with a video that I'm going to show you here in a second. And it perfectly exemplifies my stance on the paranormal. I've talked ad nauseum about the things that I tend to believe and the things that I think are BS, for lack of a better phrase. And the video they included is iconic. Everybody around the world has seen at least a screenshot of it. Even if you're not into the paranormal, you have seen snippets of this video. And I think it's the perfect video to sort of exemplify my stance on things of the paranormal variety. So, of course, we're talking about the classic Patterson Bigfoot video. And I know it is one of the most divisive videos in the world. For 55 years, it has been divisive. Do I think it's real? I can't say yes or no for sure, but I will say this. A lot of people will come out and say it's been debunked as being created, but no, it hasn't. People have come out and said it's a guy in a suit. People will come out and say that somebody, I think it was in North Carolina, sold them the suit through the mail to do this. Some people will even say they're related to Patterson or Gimlin, that they have said that they created the whole thing. But all of that is what has been actually debunked. And this video to this day really hasn't been debunked. Do I think for sure it's Bigfoot? It sure as hell looks like Bigfoot. But can I say for a 100% chance that I know that that classic picture that we're looking at right there is proof of a cryptozoological creature that lives among us on Earth? No, I cannot say that for 100% fact. And as a matter of fact, ask some of the people that are in the Bigfoot group that I'm on or a member of in Facebook, and they will tell you that dude doesn't believe anything. Because here it is. This is where I stand with all of this stuff, folks. I am somebody that is I like to call myself a logical believer, or if you prefer, a logical skeptic. I'm very skeptical about just about everything to do with the paranormal. I will call out BS if I see it. If I think something is completely faked, I will say it. If I think something has the potential of having an explanation, I will call it. If there's something that I can't explain and I think is kind of peculiar, I will say it. A couple videos ago, I did one with the cup sliding across the ghost video, and I thought it could have been easily created with someone off camera and a string attached to the cup pulling the string. But what I went by is the guy's reaction. It was genuine. So unless he was a professional actor, I think he pulled that off pretty well. So it sure seems sincere. But here's the big difference between me and believers and skeptics. I'll admit when I was wrong. If something comes out with concrete proof that it is A, real, or B, proven to be fraudulent or fake or not what it's sold to be, after I have said, I kind of believe that one, I will be the first person to say, you know what? I was wrong. Professional skeptics and absolute believers refuse to do that. And there's nothing wrong with that mindset either way. It's just how they're wired. Sometimes the absolute believers go a little bit too far with their belief system. I think we're seeing that a lot today with some videos. And I'm going to talk about mimics coming up here shortly. And that is kind of my point of people doing things to get their 5 minutes of fame on TikTok or YouTube, because things like that could so easily be recreated. Stuff like this that you're seeing, the Patterson Bigfoot film from the late 1960s. Sure, it could have been created. Sure, it could be a hoax. But like I said, 55 years later, and there's still no absolute concrete evidence that this was created by these two gentlemen way back in the late 1960s. People will say it is, but has it been? No, not yet. On the contrary, we still don't have definitive proof that a Bigfoot is real. We haven't found a body. We haven't found verifiable DNA. We haven't found scat, to use the phrase they like to use in Bigfoot terminology, Bigfoot vernacular, Bigfoot nomenclature. So, yeah, do I think the possibility is out there for a creature that we don't know about yet? Absolutely. This is a big, round world. Yeah, I said that a little louder than it needed to be, but I wanted the flat earthers to hear that. This big, round globe that we live in has so much space that I don't want to say is unexplored, because I think we've pretty much set foot on every corner of this planet, but not every single day. And I know skeptics out there will say, we have GPS. We can see, we can pinpoint a match in a haystack. Yeah, we can. But this isn't CSI Miami. The resolution that some of these have, no, we can't watch every inch of every corner of this planet. And there's all sorts of wide open spaces, kind of like the great Northwest here in the United States and pretty much all over Canada. There's so much uninhabited land that we don't know what's out there. So, could Bigfoot be real? Yes, it can. Do I tend to think this video is real? Yes, I do. But I don't have the proof. But if I find out it's fake, I'll come back on here and I'll tell you I was wrong. It's what a lot of people will never ever do. Do you think the Patterson Bigfoot video is real? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. As I teased on the previous segment, I was asked about mimics, and I have kind of unimpressed opinions on mimics, but I have two videos that I'm going to share. One's an actual, what is called a mimic video. The second one isn't really a mimic, but we'll get to that in just a minute. Let's take a look at the first one, shall we?
Explain this, but my daughter's at school, and I keep hearing something called. Did you hear that? Oh my God. Brooke, are you here? Brooklyn.
As he approached their room, he called out their names to confirm if he was really hearing their voices. And he was. 0.
There's literally no one here. Like,
38. The creepy experience left him so scared that he started to wonder if it was time to move out of the house.
All right, so you heard him say, "Daddy, come here, Daddy." I'm not one to really believe mimicry. I understand where the idea comes from, people that believe there are spirits that like to mimic us and our children and use it to get us to succumb to their wishes or whatever reason they're doing it. But there's so many mimic videos. If you were to be a spirit or a ghost, do you know how much energy it would take to conjure for a ghost to have to do that? And I'm not saying I'm the no end all be all. I don't know everything about the other side. None of us do, because quite frankly, if we're watching this video or we're making this video, we're not on the other side, unless there's a ghost watching this. But I just think mimic videos have become cool to do now. So they're so easily created that you don't know what they are. Do I think this is a ghost mimicking? No, I don't. I think that's him with a recording of his kid saying, "Daddy," and "come here." So no, I don't necessarily buy mimic videos. And that last video was what is called a mimic video. This next one, not so much. Even though she portrays it as a mimic video, it's really not. It's just your standard ghostly voice video. But she has a rather lengthy build-up. So we'll comment as the build-up commences. And I have a few things to say.
I caught a mimic on camera pretending to be my child. And I know that sounds so crazy, but I'm about to play this video for you so that you can watch it yourself.
First of all, when we get to the video in a couple of minutes, the mimic isn't playing her child, because she's going to debunk that with her own words coming up in just a little bit. But keep that in mind.
I caught a mimic on camera pretending to be my child. And I know that sounds so crazy, but I'm about to play this video for you so that you can watch it yourself. And I consider myself pretty spiritually awake. I'm an intuitive, but
Of course you are.
this is the first time that I actually have physical evidence, and I've watched this video.
First of all, you don't have physical evidence. You captured something that you could call evidence, but it's not something you physically hold in your hand and not something that you can reproduce. Ergo, it's not physical. It's just potential evidence. But that's semantics.
Many times, and I still have yet to come up with a rational or logical explanation as to what this voice is. In this video, my family and I are on a sleigh ride in Deer Valley, and we are in the middle of the mountains. There is no one around us. The only people on this sleigh are me, my husband, the two children that you see, and the two drivers, who are two grown men. Yet,
Okay, keep that in mind. They're in Utah. There are only, by her count, 6 people. Her husband, her 2 children, 2 drivers, and we'll just add on, which I'm assuming was a horse, as the driver of the sleigh. So 6 human beings and some kind of animal that's pulling it. But they're the only ones around.
The first 5 seconds of the video, you clearly hear a loud voice that says, "Hello, Daddy." This voice is clearly not my daughter's voice because you can see her mouth in the video, it doesn't move. And some may argue that this voice is my son's voice because his mouth is covered up. But if you watch the video, you can see that my son starts speaking towards the end and it's very muffled. It's in complete contrast.
She is correct. The son does speak in the video, but we'll get back to the whole muffled thing.
This loud, crisp, clear voice that you hear in the beginning. And additionally, this voice seems to have like a weird British Victorian accent. I don't even know what kind of accent.
Why, when they're British accents, they're always Victorian? Was that the only time people died in England, was in the mid to late 1800s? Nobody died in the 20th century? Carry on.
It is, and my son does not speak like that. But yeah, just watch this video and let me know what you think.
Hello, Daddy.
A little warmer.
So I'm sure you heard it there. Yes, it does have a strange accent. Is it Victorian? I suppose, but that was the voice. No, it didn't sound like her son, but we're going to find that out in just a second.
Over there.
It's beautiful. Oh,
Okay, you just heard her son talk there. Maybe she misspoke. She said muffled. It's more like he's mumbling, not his voice is muffled. But there's just a few seconds left, so I'll just let it play out before I continue.
Getting exercise. Snow is in my eye.
Stop.
I do appreciate the fact that she went old school with the paranormal investigation and looped it and played it in slow motion. It's what we used to do with EVPs for whatever reason. Like we thought it was going to make it sound that much clearer. But you did hear "Hello, Daddy." Yes, it sounded like a different voice. No, it was not a mimic. And 2, I don't believe it. It sounded way too clear in conjunction with the rest of the voices you heard in that clip. It sounded like it wasn't even outside. It sounded like it was talked into through a microphone. So I kind of call BS on this video because I'm assuming that if it was a ghost, the ghost would have also been outside and they wouldn't have had that crisp, clear voice that you heard on it. So I'm sorry, I'm calling BS on this, regardless of the fact that it wasn't a mimic video. It would have been a ghostly video. But hey, maybe you think differently. Let me know in the comments. And that will wrap it up for this episode of Spock Rock After Dark. Don't forget to click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Because remember, nothing good ever happens until after dark.